The ingredients for the Tres Leches Cake are 1.5 cups of flour, 4 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 stick of butter, 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So coming over here, this is the 3 milks that I'm going to be pouring on top of the cake once it's cooked. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I'm going to cook the cake for a total of 20 minutes. 12 ounces of carnation evaporated milk, 14 ounces of Eagle condensed sweetened milk, and then I have 1 cup of whole milk. And then on top of the cake, I am going to whisk until it becomes whipped cream, 1 pint of whipping cream, and then I'm going to dust on top of the cake 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. So right here in this bowl is the flour, and this is 1.5 cups. I am going to put in the baking soda, the cream of tartar, and the salt. And then I'm just going to whisk it together, making sure that it's well blended. In this bowl, I am going to place the 1 stick of butter, and then I'm going to be adding the 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Okay, so I blended this in. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 1 of the eggs at a time, and I'm going to just make sure that it gets in there. And by the time you add the 4th egg, this will be nice and smooth. Right now it might look still a little hard, but that's okay. So just continue adding all the eggs 1 at a time. Okay, so add the vanilla extract, blend it in really well. See, it became smooth. I mean, once you add it to the dry ingredients, all of it is going to be blended in really well. So I ended up using 4 tablespoons of milk, because when I added the 2 tablespoons and I stirred this up, even though it did thin out a little bit, it wasn't thin enough. So, and we want this to be a cake batter. So I put in 4 tablespoons of milk, and you can see the batter is more pliable. It's not as dense. And I'm ready to pour it in my pre-greased pan. So I'm just using a different size pan. It's a little smaller. I could not tap it as much as I did my metal pan, and that's because I don't want to break it. So here's my batter. Yeah, this is much better. It's going to be a better cake than if I had not added a little more milk, just to break it down a little bit. There it is. So again, I'm going to just bake it for 20 minutes in a 350 degree oven. And while that's baking, I am going to mix all 3 of my milks together, and I'll see you when I get back. Thank you for watching Yota's Kitchen. Okay, add your evaporated milk, and then add the cup of milk. I'm going to stir this up really well, and then I am going to add about 1/8 of a cup of rum. This is optional. You don't have to do this. I'm just adding it because if the cake is going to absorb all this liquid, one of my favorite cakes is rum cake. And I figured, you know what, I'm just going to put some rum in. And this is going to be an adult version of the Tres Leches Cake. If you're going to be making it and serving it to children or someone who has an issue with alcohol, I would recommend that you don't put alcohol in it. But I don't have any problems with alcohol, and I'm not serving it to any children. So I am just going to add a small amount, just enough for taste, in the cake. And then when the cake is done and it's cooled slightly, I will be adding this milk to it, my whipping cream. Now, the one thing that I did not mention at the top of this video is that there is a little sugar that goes in this too. Not a lot, because there's a lot of sugar in the cake. The condensed milk has a lot of sugar, so I don't want it to be so overpowering that you can't eat it. And again, this is 1/2 cup of sugar that I'm going to be blending in here. And so the next step is just to whisk this and make it nice and fluffy, and I'll refrigerate it while the cake is done. Okay, so my whipping cream has formed some peaks. So I'm going to stick this in the freezer for 10 minutes and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. I just want it to be really cold when I'm ready to put it on top of the cake. Now the cake is still in the oven, of course, because this took me only a few minutes, as well as mixing all the milks up. It only took a few minutes to do. So I will be back when the cake is done and it has cooled and I'm ready for the next step. Thank you for watching Yota's Kitchen. Okay, welcome back to Yota's Kitchen. As you can see, the cake absorbed the milk that I put in there. So I am going ahead and pouring over at least 1/3 of what's left. The cake is done, and I want to add the whipped cream on it. As you can see, all the milk has been absorbed, and I'm very happy. I just want to show you what it looks like. Isn't that fantastic? So I want to add the whipped cream. I had placed it in the freezer, and to be honest, I forgot it. So I'm just going to add the whipped cream. There it goes. So here is this is the cocoa powder and the confectionery sugar, and I'm just doesn't that look superb? Yeah, it's a lot of chocolate and a lot of sugar on top. If you don't want that much, you don't have to add it, but it looks good to me. So I'm gonna go get a knife and I am going to cut out a slice, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So I'm just gonna find the center. I'm gonna cut it in thirds. I'm gonna make it nice slices of cake. That looks about right. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to finish their cake, they don't have to. They can always cut it in half and eat what they want. So here it is. So it's a 6-person cake the way I cut it. And I'm just gonna pull out one piece and hope for the best, because the first piece never comes out as well as you want it. Ta-da! I guess the cake must have been still a little warm. But here it is. Doesn't that look fantastic? I cannot wait to dig into this and see how it tastes. But it looks a lot better when I tell you a lot better than the cake I made last week. So again, making sure that you have fresh ingredients is the key to being a successful baker. Thank you for watching Yota's Kitchen. Until the next segment, have a great day. Thank you.